Well, joining us here this afternoon in the studio is probably one of the busiest guys on campus, the director of the Drake Relays, Mr. Brian Brown. Brian, thank you so much for stopping by and talking to us today about the Drake Relays. I'm sure it's been just a busy, hectic couple weeks for you.
Yeah, it's a busy time, but it's now 10 years that I've been preparing for this great event, and I love it.
Now, you've been an assistant coach for the women's track and field team here at Drake. How did you get involved with the Drake Relays initially?
Well, my initial exposure to the Drake Relays was as a competitor. In 1991, a long time ago, was my first time even entering on Drake's campus. And it was at that time I came to compete in my first Drake Relays. And so when I came onto campus, such a carnival atmosphere, got into the field house, walked down to the track out of the tunnel, and there it was, the blue oval, and a packed crowd, and it was pretty great. It was nice. It was a good opportunity.
But what made you decide to become the director of the relays?
Yeah, when after competing for a number of years, my wife is from Des Moines. She at the time was a media darling. She was a Roosevelt High School graduate, a Rough Rider. She had been to the had made the '92 Olympic Games and won a silver medal. So when the opportunity came for her to become a head coach here at Drake, she came back home, and we had been at Mizzou for about 7 years, and so I was able to come and be an assistant coach initially because Drake doesn't have a nepotism rule, so that means she can hire me as an assistant. Okay. And after some time, finished my doctorate, and months later, I was called in the office and they offered me the director of the Drake Relays position, and really, honestly, Hunter, it was very surprising. Yeah. But I thought about it for a while and took on the challenge, and I'm glad I did.
And since you've been the director, how have you seen the Drake Relays evolve over the years?
Well, in my first year, I did some real, I guess, canvassing of some of the wise counsel that was around, including Paul Morrison, including the previous directors. And I offered up, for the first time, a night session. So the Friday night at the Relays didn't exist until I came on board. In that first year, I offered up in a unique event outside of the stadium. In 2006, I offered a high jump in the middle of Nolan Plaza downtown. And it was a beautiful day. It was a successful event. And I think those two things allowed for me to have the confidence to start instilling some of those types of those special events, pole vault in the mall, those kinds of things, into the week of the Drake Relays.
Now, I'm really interested in hearing this. I'm sure everyone back home is. Describe a day in the life of Brian Brown during the Drake Relays.
Well, I think that depends on when you catch Brian. When you have him, like right now, a week out, we're doing entries. It's all-nighters, making sure we get the right universities and colleges and teams in. It's dealing with agents all day, emailing and texting. They want a room, and they didn't let me know they had a room. I have a room for an athlete on Monday. They come in on Sunday. It's the juggle. It's trying to make sure you do as much as you can, knowing that when the event gets here, you're still going to have all those things. But the more I can neutralize right now, the more I can really do other things to put out fire. So there's I have some great people surrounding me that's a part of the team. It's bigger than you know. It becomes a faith kind of thing. I'm a man of faith, and there's so many things I can't cover. But so many times I see the blessings because the gaps that I leave, they're being filled in, even despite me. And it's really kind of enjoyable to see it all come together. I do the best I can with my part, but I also empower other people to do their part. And everyone knows how much it means, the event, and what it means to Drake, and what it means to the city and the state. And people step up, and they put their best foot forward. And in the end, I'm proud of it, not just as a director, but I'm proud of it as a university and as a city, because we do put forth excellence at the end of the day.
And speaking of the city of Des Moines, it's the 106th running of the Drake Relays, a long time for any kind of event. Right. Why do you think the Drake Relays have thrived here in the city of Des Moines?
It's a great question. I think what makes Drake Relays different than any other event is the fact that it is a classic. And to be a classic, you're thoughtful about the experience of the fans and of the athletes and of the coaches. And it's not something that we have to generate in the Midwest here in Iowa. When they go to our restaurants and they sit in our restaurants and spend time in our hotels and engage the people of this city, it is a uniqueness that is a draw for people to come back. They enjoy their experience. And when they get to the stadium, our officials get it. You know, they're going to follow the rules, but at the same time, they're going to treat them like people. There are other events where these athletes go, they're treated like cattle. They just get in, get out. They're very people course. But here, they experience something that's more classic, more classy, and it's been 100 years of that, and so we're proud to keep that tradition.
And what kind of improvements have you seen in the city? I mean, we're going to see the NCAA tournament come to Des Moines next year. What kind of improvements have you seen in and around Des Moines that's really made the city a better place to hold events?
Well, I think it's the leadership. The leadership is continuing to get better. There's instead of competing, they're collaborating. If you think about downtown, our downtown is thriving. It's continued to be thoughtful. The type of features we add to our downtown, our trails are very popular. We're a healthy city, and I think that matters. I think it matters for us to continue to draw people to events like the Drake Relays. I think if you are a Des Moines native, I think if you're from the state of Iowa, I think that the Drake Relays is a part of the tapestry, it's woven into the experience whether you go or not. And I think sometimes that's good and bad. I think it's taken for granted sometimes. Yeah. I think other times people can't wait, not only for the competition that's on the track, but people can't wait for the associations they have made, for the people they sit next to in the stands, that they only see them when they come to the Drake Relays because they're from Florida or from New Mexico, but they meet back there every year. So it becomes part of associations for the alumni to come back and be proud. So those are things that you can't script, you can't build it in. You only get it after years of tradition, and that's what we have going for us.
Now, I know she's going to be running this year, but Lolo Jones, being a Des Moines native and an Olympian, she attracts a lot of people to the Drake Relays. But other than Lolo, what else do you think attracts people to Drake Stadium?
Well, I think the intimacy of the stadium. We don't have a 30 or 40,000 seat stadium that is so big, you can't feel the energy. We're 14.5 max, and the energy that you can get as an athlete from the fans and the experience you can get from the fans, from the athletes, is something that really helps to draw people. Even though Penn Relays are a great event, pack house 50,000, okay, that's a lot of people cheering. The feeling is the same because of the intimacy of our stadium. In fact, Hunter, it used to be more intimate. We actually had the 8th lane of the track used to be right next to the wall. And then when we renovated the stadium, we put that outside lane. So I think those things are built in. I would imagine like a Lolo Jones, many of the other athletes that come, they appreciate the fact that our fans are knowledgeable. They understand great performances. And whether you're from Des Moines or from Africa, they're going to give you love if you do something that's worthy of it.
And you touched earlier about some of the events leading up to relays, like the Grand Blue Mile. Yes. That's a popular event, the Hy-Vee road races, and even the high jump. Kind of playing a little bit of spoiler here, but are there kind of some events that you look forward to bringing in the future to Relays Week? Yeah,
I think like this year, we're doing an event, the first time ever. We're going to take the pole vault out of the mall, and we're going to put it on the streets. With that comes risk and reward. It comes challenge and it comes opportunity. I think that we want to present excellence, not exhibition. And so with that, we have the best in the world competing on the streets here next week. If we move an event and we do something, we want it to be the very best, not just for the sake of throwing a javelin across the river or long jumping on the footbridge downtown. I mean, those things are cool, but can we do it at a high level, and can we get the best in the world to do it?
And do you think there is something that you really would like to see in addition to?
Absolutely.
Like what?
So if you think about the amphitheater, the Simon Estes Amphitheater that's right next to the river by Embassy Suites, there is a plan for that. I already have people who are preparing for the time that we pull the trigger on it. But in my mind, I see a great event, shot put event, where the big guys and women are there, the best in the world are standing on the platform at the amphitheater, which is the arch right next to the river. And they're throwing a shot put either into the river on the barge, or they're throwing it into the amphitheater on the platform. But either way, certified, big time event, and I think I've been able to cast that vision for others, and they see it. It's just a matter of time.
All right, and finally, we'll leave you off with this. You've been around the relays, obviously, for a while now. Every year, what is the one thing that you look forward to watching?
I look forward to Saturday. I look forward to Saturday, I guess around 2 o'clock. It's around that time that I become a fan. all the other times I'm looking, I'm working, and putting out fires. About 2 o'clock on a Saturday, I become a fan. I kind of go sit down and find my little space and just watch it all unfold. And beyond that, I do have a daughter and a son. My daughter's 15 at Johnson High School. My son is 13. He's going to be running one of the relays. I look forward to seeing how well they enjoyed the experience. They're going to be my litmus test on how well I'm doing in terms of providing a fan experience.
Well, Brian, thank you so much. You've done such a great job with the Drake Relays. Thank you for stopping by, not only to talk about the Drake Relays, but how big of an impact they've had here in the city of Des Moines.